broadcast for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. This is the Firearms Radio Network. The bandwidth for this edition of Gun Guy Radio is supplied by LA Police Gear, lapolicegear.com.
Welcome to episode 104 of Gun Guy Radio. This is the podcast that shines a positive light on the firearms lifestyle. I'm your host, Jake Challen, and this is your weekly dose of positive firearms talk without the politics. LA Police Gear is offering an exclusive 10% off to Gun Guy Radio listeners. Don't forget to use the Gun Guy, G-U-N-G-U-I, Gun Guy discount code for 10% your next order at LA Police Gear. But hurry, discount code offer ends this week, January 31st. So on January 31st, the Gun Guy Radio discount code offer ends. So hurry up. And a few announcements before we get started this week. I apologize if you're watching the video version of this, but I've been extremely under the weather post-SHOT Show. Caught the SHOT Show plague. Just completely wiped me and my family out. And we've been under the weather really for about an entire week. And it just, I don't know, it stinks. I had to cancel This Week in Guns this week. I'm recording Gun Guy Radio on Sunday after the time it's supposed to release. So I'm late getting this out, but it's going to go out at least the same day. Apologize for not being a little more with it, but this virus just completely took me for a loop, and appreciate you hanging with me through this episode. A few announcements here. So we're giving away a new Bond Arms backup in 45 ACP. The Bond Arms backup is the newest member of the Bond Arms family. It's a Derringer featuring a 2.5-inch barrel, rubber grip, a powder-coated frame, and bead-blasted barrel. And it's only 4 overall inches in length. And at a $400 MSRP, you got to get entered for this. So you can enter to win by submitting a gun and gear. That's right, submit a gun and gear review for the Firearms Insider. You can go to firearmsinsider.tv/submit. It's a little form that you fill out. It takes a little while to fill out, so be patient. I did include an outline link in the very top of that page so you can see kind of what we're looking for the review, so you can kind of fill that outline ahead of time before you start filling out the online form. But that's firearmsinsider.tv/submit. Every review you submit, you will get an entry to win the Bond Arms backup. And not many people have entered so far, so the chances are pretty good for winning if you submit a review. We will be announcing that winner May the 4th. All reviews must be submitted by April 30th, and we're giving away 4 runner-up prizes as well. Okay, so other announcements. I want to give a big shout-out again to the SHOT Show crew. We're still delving through all the videos. We're still pouring over that video content, and some of it's been going up today, so keep checking back at our Firearms Radio Network YouTube page. That's youtube.com/user/Firearms Radio. And we have, I believe we have over 100 SHOT Show videos up there currently, and it keeps growing. So, big shout out to the whole crew that made this possible, and to everyone watching the videos. We've had a lot of people watching and commenting, so big thank you to you guys. And also, big announcement here. We have some new shows joining the FRN ranks. That's right. We have some new shows joining the Firearms Radio Network. Couldn't be more excited. I wish I was feeling better, so I didn't sound so crappy when talking about this. But big shout out to the Power Factor Show. That's right, yeah. The guys over at the Power Factor Show are coming on to the Firearms Radio Network. Now, this show has been on I think they just had their 3-year anniversary. You know, the hosts over there, Steve, Rick, John, Larry, and Doug, and a few other guys come on occasionally. But Steve and Rick, you'll recognize them right off the bat if you've ever seen any of the Power Factor shows. It's actually our first really full-blown video podcast. They do a really good video podcast where it's actually produced. It's just not a talking head like me, but I couldn't be more excited about bringing these guys on. And, the future of the Firearms Radio Network is bright, especially with such talent like the Power Factor Show coming on board. Got to give a big shout out to Loke for organizing and approaching us about this deal. Big thank you to Loke for making this possible, and a big shout out to all the guys, all the hosts over at the Power Factor Show. And they will be showing up here on the Firearms Radio Network within a month or so. Same thing with the other new shows. It takes a little bit of time for me to get some of the gears in motion. And I've been put behind from this cold, or from this virus I had all week. And so I can't wait to send you guys to Power Factor Show on the Firearms Radio Network. And I think I announced last week that we're also bringing on Practically Tactical, the YouTube Hangout show that is also on iTunes. They're also coming on the Firearms Radio Network, as well as another unnamed show, which I'm pretty sure is coming on as well. So it's exciting times, really cool. Bringing all this awesome talent onto the Firearms Radio Network. I'm blown away. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching and making this possible. Well, see if I can get through this episode without hitting the cough button 100 times, but we'll see how it goes. Brownells helps make this episode of Gun Guy Radio possible. Selection, service, satisfaction. Find it all at Brownells. Go to gunguyradio.com/satisfaction. So this week, I wanted to talk a little bit about budget home defense handguns for the main topic, and a little bit about quick access safes for those handguns. Is there such a thing as a budget home defense gun? Now I'm talking a new gun. I'm not going to talk used, because used prices are relative, and you can pick up practically anything used for a certain price point. So I'm talking new prices, although used, I always suggest looking there first. $300 or less. This is kind of something that I sought out because I started thinking about how my house is set up, and that if anyone unfortunately ever breaks into my house, what happens if I'm in the basement? How do I get to the gun? What happens if I'm in the living room? What happens, because my house, it's not, let's see here, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, with a basement. So it has some decent square footage, but it's not a big house by any means. You can cover it fairly quickly. So I'm thinking, if someone kicks in the front door, how likely am I to get my gun out of my gun cabinet, which takes a real key. It's not a keypad. It's not a biometric reader. It takes a real key that I have hidden somewhere. That's the thing. If you have a safe or cabinet with a key on it, where do you put that key? Do you put it on the key rings that you carry every day, or do you leave it relatively near the safe but hidden so that a family member can open the safe? Because are you going to have keys for every family member for the safe? That's a real dilemma when you come, when you have a safe that requires a key, or I shouldn't say safe, a gun locker, a cabinet. So, I got to thinking, my wife is, you're going to just have to bear with my coughing if I miss the cough button. But my wife is, practically 9 months pregnant, a little over 8 months. We're due here in just less than a month now, just a few weeks' time. We're due with our fourth child. And in every pregnancy, my wife, goes through a lot of hip pain, a lot of pain in her joints, and she can't move fast at all. I mean, she's, moves around slower than an old lady, I joke. And it's really, she's not very mobile. So I'm thinking about her. How can she, get to a gun? Because, this is something else. If someone breaks in and you have, we have 3 little kids, soon to be 4. Do you go get the kids? Do you get the gun? What do you do first? I think that all depends. Like for her, I told her, I think your best option is probably to get a gun because, just the mobility wise, there's not time to do it all. And even for me, there's not time to find 18 kids and then get to the gun. So, get into that great equalizer first. Having that is probably the best option. I guess. I don't know. I mean, there's all these things to consider for home defense. And so I started thinking, well, what kind of budget handgun can I get? Not just one, but get a few of. Maybe get 2 or 3 of to put, 3 different places in the house or to have. So I already have a home defense rifle, so it would add 3 to that, so it would give me 4, possibly 4 places in the house where I could have quick access to a firearm, especially for my wife who can't move very fast and in this later stage of pregnancy. So it's kind of where my mind has been going lately, because I can't buy 4 H&Ks and put them, take a title loan on my car and do that maybe. But what can I buy? What kind of budget handgun could I buy that would, maybe instead of buying 1 H&K, I could buy 4 of these handguns or 3 of these handguns. Instead of buying 1 Glock, I could buy 2 of these to give me more options. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but that's just kind of where my mindset has been going. How can I, have better home defense coverage? Because some guys will say, oh, you got to buy a Glock, you got to buy a SIG, you got to buy this $500,000-$600,000 gun because that's going to be reliable. That why would you trust your life to anything that costs less than that? Well, I don't know. You could go down a lot of paths with that. You could say, well, why would you drive your Ford when you should be driving a BMW? Why would you trust your life to anything less than a BMW? You can take that to any extreme. So I'm not sure there is a gun that, you have to hit this price point to be able to trust your life to it. So I think there may be some options out there for under $300 that you could trust your life to. Well, it sounds like I'm pausing and stopping and starting here. It's because I'm hitting the cough button and hacking my lungs out. So pardon me. Where was I? So I think there are a few guns that you could, quote unquote, trust your life to for under $300. I guess that's what it really is. Trust, faith, putting faith in this mechanical object that will hopefully help you perform to a level that will, be that equalizer to put the evil person in the ground and keep your family safe, or stop the evil person, stop the threat. That's the point. So it's kind of a leap of faith in a way, because all mechanical things fail. Even Glocks fail. Even SIGs fail. High points fail. So a lot of the failure rate, there is no scientific concrete. There's a lot of hearsay. There's not like a database you can look up and see high points fail this percentage of times and Glocks fail this percentage of times. Although I'm sure there's been tests done, but to what extent, and to what extent was it user error, ammo error, bad ammo, bad magazines, stuff like that. So there's just all these things going through your head when you're thinking about your family and defending them, and how much do I invest in these firearms. Honestly, a lot of people can't invest that much because, they're maybe living paycheck to paycheck or trying to pay off debt and stuff. So they need a budget option, at least for now. I picked up an SCCY, or some people might call them Sky, SCCY, Sky Industries, CPX2, Generation 2, and 9mm. So this is a double stack. It's probably about the size of a Ruger LC9, but it's a little fatter because it's double stack. I picked this up because it was you can get them on AIM Surplus for $249.99. Some people have found them much cheaper. I've had listeners write me. These are American-made gun, made in Florida, I think. $249, and they feature, it's a heavy trigger, 9-pound trigger. You get 2 double-stack 10-round magazines with them, which I like. I got this as one of those home defense guns. It's not terrible. It's not great. I ran when I got it. The first thing I did was grabbed some self-defense rounds. I can't even think what they are. Whatever my local store, Farmer Fleet, had some self-defense 9mm. I bought like 4 or 5 boxes of that, and I ran 2.5 boxes through it. So 50, 60, probably about 60 or 70 rounds of the self-defense stuff, because I wanted to make sure that was going to run what I was going to keep in the magazines. And you know what? I think I ran a box of white box, 50 rounds of white box Winchester through it before that, actually, because I believe I did. I dropped it in the mud, so I did an unintentional mud test on it, and when I dropped it in the mud, it filled up the chamber area with mud, and so I knocked it out, banged it on some wood boards there, got the mud to kind of fall out of there, and then I kept running it, and it ran fine. And then this was right before I took off for SHOT Show. Then I had my wife come out, and I wanted her to run at least a few magazines through it, because I wanted her to have a feel for a gun that she might have to use when I was gone. She was not too thrilled about that, being about 9 months pregnant, as you can imagine. I kind of made a mistake, went against my own advice, and bought a gun that my wife did not try out first, and she hates it. Probably partly because it's got a bigger grip to it, because it's a double stack. Partly because it's extremely snappy, because it's a small little polymer 9mm shooting self-defense loads out of. Probably because I bought it without her trying it first, and I don't know, it just probably doesn't feel good in her hands. So that was a mistake on my part. Now, she shot the gun just fine. She still had some. She had some problems with the slide, with ranking the slide. It's pretty tough for her, even when I remind her to push out with her bottom, her right hand, and pull back with the top, moving both hands and not just moving your hand on the slide, but pushing out with your hand on the grip. Even then, that was the only way she could do it. Even then, it was tough. So that is really something to take into consideration for a home defense gun. I mean, your spouse or maybe an older relative, or if this is for an older person, that being able to clear a malfunction or seat a new round in the chamber, that's something to take into consideration. But I think the Sky Industries, I think it is a good little option. It didn't have any hiccups for me. It feels pretty good in my hand. I got a little bigger hands, so I really have no complaints about it. It is snappy. It's accurate, though. It's got pretty decent sights on it. So for $250, I think it's a real option. So anyhow, moral of my story: take your wife to a rental range and try some of these out before you buy it. But so, what about a high point? I know I've heard from listeners before that have high points for home defense guns and say they run fine. They're only $150 or less. That could be an option. I don't know. I don't know. People hate them. People love them. People are indifferent. I don't know. But I think it's something to consider. But I think looking at any of these guns, I think there's going to be that tension. Is this good enough? Is this expensive enough? It's something a lot of us have to consider, because not everyone can just buy a $600 M&P or Glock or XD, and those are great guns, but those can fail as well. So it's all, sort of relative to an extent. Now, what about something like this brand, Heritage Rough Rider? They make a lot of 22 single-action revolvers. I think this is single-action. Yeah, it is. So this is one of those single-action revolvers that has the 22 Magnum cylinder with it. So I'm thinking, single-action revolvers, that's a viable home defense option. If not, if you don't think so, just go watch a cowboy action match. I'd say their single-action are still viable for home defense, especially if, I guess I should have prefaced this whole thing. Probably the best gun is a gun you can shoot best. So if you can shoot a single-action revolver best, then go for it. Anyway, so why not, maybe a single-action 6-round revolver with 6 rounds of 22 Magnum? Would that be a bad choice? I don't know. I guess this episode is more me thinking out loud, maybe asking you guys what you think. Budget under $300. So these are $214. They're easy to shoot. They're I guess the thing is you got to be well versed, as far as it being a single action, having to pull the hammer back each time. But maybe that's not an issue for you. Just a thought. And then what about like a Taurus Model 22, these tip-up barreled magazine-fed little pocket guns? Because they have just a ton of them chambered in 22. So 8 rounds, a 22, like 2 magazine, having 2 magazines of that. I got to think that's not a terrible option. After all, it's all about shot placement, right? To an extent. There could be worse cartridges than a 22 long rifle. I don't know. Is that stupid? Probably some of you are shouting at the podcast right now saying, yes, never use 22 for self-defense. But, we see stories in the news a lot about, old ladies using little 22 revolvers to fend off attackers, or little boys grabbing a 10-22 and fending off an attacker and stuff. So they do work. 8 rounds, well placed, 22 LR. think that, could that be an option? Or what about an Armscore M200 revolver? So this is by Armscore out of the Philippines, and this is kind of, I don't know, maybe a Smith & Wesson style revolver. I'm not really sure, but it's probably more of their own design. But it's 38 special, 4-inch barrel, 6 rounds. I held this gun at SHOT Show. I was pretty impressed with it for $200. This little 38 special revolver. It seems like a really decent little revolver. So, 38 special, you can't go. You can't say that isn't a good home defense round. I mean, police used it for years. It's definitely a decent round. Some of the plus P rounds are good options. Good options for different self-defense loads for it out there. So why not a little Armscore M200 38 special revolver for home defense? It feels good. Feels real good. Points real good. I haven't shot it, but I think that this is going to be on my list to try shortly. $200. I mean, it's a revolver where I think one of the big issues with a lot of these cheap pistols or handguns is that the magazine-fed ones. I'm concerned about the magazine not being reliable because they're cheaper magazines, they're cheaper guns overall, and generally your malfunctions have to do with magazines. And that's something else my wife had an issue with, was seating the magazine on the Sky Industries 9mm. So, having a 6-round revolver like this, that might be a good option. For $200, you could buy 3 of those for the price of a new Glock or a new XD or a new M&P. I don't know. Might be an option. So what about a Kel-Tec? About $250, you can get some of the Kel-Tec P11s, the 9mm. A lot of people carry Kel-Tecs every day, so I gotta think a Kel-Tec would be good. But then again, for the ladies, it's snappy, or for smaller frame people, it's snappy, just like the Sky Industries is. That's why, back to the revolver, that's why that might be a good option, because it's got some heft to it. It's going to soak up the recoil. It's not a snub nose. It's a 4-inch barrel, so it's got a decent grip to it, some heft to it. So but yeah, back to the Kel-Tec. Kel-Tecs, you can pick them up, $250 or so. That might be a good option. Or what about this? I didn't realize that EAA, they also make a revolver. They make the Windicator and 38 special. This is another 4-inch with synthetic grips for about $250. So that might be another good option. It looks like it has some pretty decent sights on it. It's got a blued steel. Yeah, $250 EAA. They make some decent stuff. Why not? Or what about just a Ruger? You may already have one of these. A Ruger Mark III. Mark III with a 5.5-inch bull barrel. Man, real easy gun to shoot. Talk about target placement, shot placement. If you want a gun that you can really tack some nails with, it would be a Ruger Mark III, the 22-45 bull barrel. You can get these for $270 or so, maybe a little less. Again, is 22 caliber a viable home defense round? I have no idea. I guess it depends. I guess it all depends. But, if that's the gun you can shoot best, I know a lot of guys, these Ruger Mark IIIs, it sometimes is the gun they shoot best because they shoot it all the time. It's the gun they always take to the range. There's some guys or ladies that every range trip, no matter what, they got the Mark III. I mean, they may have other guns too, but, Mark III always comes along because that's fun way to wrap up your training, or fun way to start and fun way to end. So if you can put 10 rounds of 22 in a size of a quarter, at 7 yards or so, I'd say that might be an option. I don't know. What do you think? What about an EAA SAR B6 in 9mm? So basically, this is a CZ clone by EAA. And I can't believe how cheap it is. It's only $286. It's got some reviews that says it's as good as a regular CZ. I haven't seen any bad reviews on it. And it's only $286, so a 9mm, 17 round, 4.5 inch CZ clone. I'm not sure that'd be such a bad choice. I mean, heck, you could do a lot with that. You could compete with that thing. I mean, you could do a lot with it. So that might be a real option. The EAA SAR B6, and then so now we're bumping up against the $300 price limit. So Charter Arms Undercover 38 Special plus B, 2-inch snub nose, 5 round, $299. It's got the we're into more of the name brands here, so it's got the Charter name. It's been around the block, the Charter name, but I think it's certainly a reliable company now, and for $299. I don't like the fact it's a snub nose, but I wanted to include something from that company in here. But that might be a good choice for you. Or what about a Taurus 740? The 740, I think it's referred to as a slim as well. This one's in 40 Smith & Wesson. Now, these last two I couldn't find online for under $300. They were just a little bit over $300, but I did see that they had been in stock different places for just under $300 before, and they probably will be again. So the Taurus 740 and 40 Smith & Wesson 6+1, about $300 price point. I think this is one I'm going to look into as well, because I picked one up again at SHOT Show and played with it, and I was surprised at the trigger. It seems like it has, for the budget handgun category, it seems like it has one of the better triggers out there. It's got a good reset, and it's got a good break on it, a good pull. So I think that's a real option if you can find it on sale. Maybe at your local dealer, you can find a deal. And then, a Ruger P95. You can't tell me a P95 is not reliable for home defense. I'm hacking my lungs out here. So Ruger, P95, around about $300. I've seen them for, just a hair under new. Again, Ruger, warranty, reliability, they're solid as a tank. So I think that's a real option. So, what do you think? Is there a viable budget home defense handgun? Is there a handgun out there that you trust your life to? And would you consider strategically placing, them throughout the house? I mean, you may carry a gun every day, even after you're home, but does your wife, do your grown kids, do your older teenager kids, you're not always there. I think if I get to the point where my wife does get a concealed carry permit, I don't know, she's in a stage of life of raising kids. I'm not sure that she's going to wear a gun 24/7. I know a lot of people don't. I mean, that's probably, if you're talking about logic, that's probably the most logical thing. If you do carry a gun, why not carry it from the time you wake up till the time you go to bed? But a lot of people don't. So is it right? Is it wrong? I don't know. But, it's always good to consider your options, to consider who else might need those options. Hope that Oh, gives you some good things to consider. This is kind of a process I'm just going through, so I thought I'd share. But I think there's always going to be that tension of how much is enough, how much gun is enough, how much money is enough, how big of a caliber is enough. Because, we could go to extreme and, get that 50 AE Desert Eagle and just be done with it. But they're a little bit hard to manage for some, and the price point is even harder. Maybe on another show we'll talk about handgun safes a little bit, because this is another part of my journey here is that I kind of talked about before about, having a handgun safe that you can get into quickly, but here's my thing. A biometric seems like the quickest thing because you have the combination on your thumb or index finger or whatever. So, it should be really quick, right? Well, so not all biometric safes are equal, and it doesn't seem like there's a perfect one out there. So I bought a Barska biometric safe because it seemed like how all of them, it had the most consistent good reviews. But even then, I mean, it's going to remember your fingerprint scan exactly the way you laid it on there. So if you didn't lay your finger up on that fingerprint scanner all the way when you scanned it to record your fingerprint, then you're going to have to lay it there that same way each time to access a safe. Now, you can lay it there a couple different times and record the same fingerprint a little bit differently to hopefully compensate for that, but that seems like an issue with these. This is my first biometric safe, so I plan on testing some of the other ones, but I've looked at the ones like by Stack-On, but the thing with them is that you scan it and then you still have to manually turn this latch. You have to turn this latch manually after you scan it. Whereas like the Barska and I think the Gun Vaults and some of the others, you scan your print and the door pops open. So I think I'd much rather have the door pop open than me have to turn a latch and pull the door open. So that's something else to consider. There's just, I don't know, maybe I get too OCD and get too nitty gritty in the details and stuff like this, and that's why I never figure out the right thing to buy. But that's just different things going through my head. And then the keypad versions of these drive me crazy. So if you look at some of the different brands, I won't name them, but you look at some of the different brands of keypads, and I'm thinking, so I'm looking at getting 2 or 3 of these different little handgun safes to put 2 or 3 handguns in. And I may get a different version of these safes depending on the location, whether it's a kitchen, office, study, basement, garage, maybe. I may be putting them in different locations, so I'll be buying different safe configurations. And I'm thinking, well, I want to get the same brand because I want, whether it's keypad or biometric or whatever it is, I want the user interface. I want the user interface to be the same across the board. I want the same keypad on all 3 or 4. I want the same biometric reader on all 3 or 4. What drives me crazy is that I find some, safes that I like from these different companies. This has happened with 2 different companies. I'm like, oh, I like that. That safe would go good there. And then that safe would go good there, and they all have the same user interface. Oh, wait, they don't. Why is this keypad a mirror image of this keypad? Why do you have to flip it? Why do they have to be a little bit different? There's one, I think it was a V-Line brand, where I like it because it's a keypad. It's a push button, 100% mechanical. So there's no failure of batteries to consider. It's mechanical. You punch in 4 or 5 digits, I think, and then turn a latch, and it opens. Well, they're all the same except for like 2 versions of their safes, and then their keypads are on the other side of the latch you turn. So you're like, well, how do I memorize what? And that's the other thing. A lot of these keypads are never labeled like with numbers. They're just like 3 buttons there, or 4 buttons there, or 5 buttons. And so that's how you have to remember the combo. While there's, you push the far right one, you push the far left one, you push the middle one, you push. Well, how do you do that when they, mirror image the keypad? Or there's different keypads. I forget, there's some other brands that, it's got the calculator, layout keypad, where it's got all the numbers, laid out like a calculator keypad kind of, or maybe like a phone. No, I think it's a calculator. So it's got them laid out like that. But then they're a little bit different. The latch that you turn, or something's just enough different where the user interface isn't the same across the board. So, maybe I'll do a future episode on handgun safes, and I'll complain some more. But so, anyways, if you have any opinions, or you want to offer any suggestions as far as budget under $300 home defense handguns, or handgun safes that are quick and reliable access, quick and reliable, repeatable. That's my thing. I want it to be repeatable. It seems like a lot of the reviews on the biometric stuff is that they work, but not every time. So, it's something to keep in mind, I suppose. So you can send emails to Jake at hackyourlungsout.com. Now, you can send emails to Jake at gunguyradio.com. And thanks for sticking with me through the main topic. Really apologize for my cough and cold, and hopefully it will be better next week. LA Police Gear helps make this episode of Gun Guy Radio possible. LA Police Gear has the Operator Tactical Polo shirts for only $14.99. That's right, $14.99 for dress casual polos from LA Police Gear, as well as many other great bargains. Right now, if you order, it says you can get a free ammo can on all orders over $85. That's 2 days only. It ends midnight tomorrow night. Or that very same LA Police Gear ammo can is only $6.99. I love LA Police Gear. Discovered them through a podcast years ago, and so excited that they're supporting Gun Guy Radio. And don't forget, they have a special discount for you. Ends this week. Gun Guy for 10% off. That's right, Gun Guy, all one word. 10% off. Discount offer ends January 31st. So whether you need some tactical 511 wear, or some Black Hawk wear, or some Streamlight flashlights, some holsters, Gelco leather holsters. They have all kinds of closeout specials as well. Tactical boots, anything, if you're military, law enforcement, you need any kind of, plate carrier, stuff like that, they are your site. LAPolicegear.com. All right, well, I kind of made a new segment here, YouTube channel of the week. We've been posting a lot of new stuff on YouTube. The SHOT Show videos are all on our YouTube page. Firearms Radio is our username on YouTube. And I might start featuring a few YouTube channels once in a while. So my pick this week is a YouTube channel by the name of Demolition Ranch. Demolition Ranch, all one word. Appears to be a guy out of Texas, young guy that likes to do some interesting things like custom homemade shotgun shells loaded with razor blades or spark plugs or all kinds of crazy things. And he also has a microwave Monday where he microwaves like live 50 caliber rounds. And just crazy, stupid stuff. 50 cal Friday where he shoots like a transmission or different things with a 50 cal. And I don't know, just goofy stuff. But, this is stuff that I was doing in high school. So, trying to blow things up with microwaves and stuff. So it's... kind of brings back old times for me, I guess. But a lot of it's crazy, stupid. Like, don't try this at home. But at the same time, I think it's pretty entertaining, and I don't think it's a bad thing. So check it out, Demolition Ranch. From Brownells, doing the Gun Guy Radio Product Spotlight on Location SHOT Show 2014. Hey, Paul.
Hey, Jake, what's going on?
It's good meeting you in person.
Yeah, finally met you.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about your new AR-15 mag, right?
Yep, we got a 5 and a 10 round AR-15 mag now. Basically what we did is we took the same body and then basically cut it down. It had to be reformed a little bit, obviously meet that standard. Came up with a base that limits the capacity, so you cannot load more than 5 or 10 for those banned states.
Okay, so these are within states in mind, like New York and California.
Yeah, you're in that unfortunate situation. So it's basically impossible to load more than 10 rounds or 5 rounds.
Right.
5 rounds, that's a hunting type magazine.
Right, that could be a hunting application that gives you a little extra grip.
Yep.
A little extra grip on the bottom.
So as you notice, it's about the same dimension as a 20-round magazine. And also the waffle pattern allows you to you can actually grip something on a magazine.
Right.
Versus a 10-rounder that's maybe just an aluminum.
They look cool too. I mean, you can look to them.
And again, it's the same style body. So it's heat treat aluminum. It's the same thing as our GI magazines, which we supply millions of to the government.
Is it the same follower?
Yep, this is the same follower. Essentially, it's our 20-rounder. And then the same dry film coating on the exterior.
Yeah. Very cool. So they're up for pre-order now. What's the ETA?
They're going to be available in February.
Okay,
so available
February.
Now for order.
MSRP, ballpark?
I believe we're $16.99.
$16.99.
Yep.
Very nice. Yeah, really good option. I love how you guys innovate and provide products for anyone out there.
Yeah, whatever state you're in, we have a product for you.
That's awesome. So very cool. So you check out, I'll put a link in the corner of this video so you can pre-order these today. So thank you so much, Paul.
No problem.
We'll see you very soon.
Yeah, see you soon.
Brownells giveaway. We're to the Brownells giveaway, and we're giving away 5 Brownells BVL 280 flashlights next week. We're giving away 5 of these bad boys. So you can enter by subscribing to our email newsletter list by going to gunguyradio.com/winner. That's right, gunguyradio.com/winner. Subscribe to our email newsletter. You only have to enter once, and you're subscribed for life. And the next round of entries are due by January 22nd, and we're giving them away January 26th.
Ballroom jeans, fire hose work pants, and long-tail tees are 3 favorites among the men of Gun Guy Radio. Duluth Trading Company has perfected the art of clothing the manly man. If you want manly comfort that's trusted by these gun guys, go to gunguyradio.com/Duluth and check out the other manly essentials Duluth Trading Company offers gun guys like us. Gun Guy Radio says thank you and proudly displays artwork and graphics designed by Ryan Cross of Hunter of Design. hunterofdesign.com.
Well, that about wraps up the show for this week. You can send feedback to jake@gunguyradio.com. Remember to subscribe to us on iTunes, gunguyradio.com/iTunes. Please leave us a written iTunes review. Don't forget to join the NRA and the Second Amendment Foundation. And don't forget we have apps on both Android and Windows phones now. Just search Firearms Radio in those app stores, whether you have an Android or Windows phone. I think the Windows Phone app is only 99 cents. And also don't forget to check out the other awesome shows on the Firearms Radio Network. Firearmsradio.tv/iTunes will subscribe you to the master feed to get all the shows at once. And also check out the Fat to Fit HQ podcast. That's right, Fat to Fit HQ. And don't forget to shop Brown Owls using our affiliate link, gunguyradio.com/satisfaction. Well, thank you so much for sticking with me through this week of cold and sickness and coughing. But hope to be better this next week. And we'll see you then.
This has been a production of the Firearms Radio Network. You can find more information at firearmsradio.tv.